Hello, BRB67TAF. Nice name. Smooth. Rolls right off the tongue. How are you doing? How are you doing today on this fine Tuesday afternoon? I'm forgetting what day it even is. I hope you're doing well. Good morning, sir. Oh, it's morning for you. It's interesting to see how things work whenever I move things later and later. I would have done this earlier, but you know, circumstances are different today. Am I late? I'm awesome. No, you're not late. It just started, Steven. It just started. So you're right on time. I mean, I'm doing awesome. Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. Good. I'm glad to hear. Wow. Looks like I got some more people coming in the later I do these. It's a shame because usually later in the day I'm a little a little more busy and I got things to take care of. It's Wednesday. You Americans are always behind the times. Yes. Today it's past six on a Tuesday. Steven, it's the same time for you, I believe. Paul Salvatera. Good, I hear. Good, Paul. I'm glad that you're here today. Yeah, I'm doing these more frequently, as you can see. One of the things that I wanted to do this year was do more live streams because I don't do those. I wasn't doing them. I had this feeling that that whenever you watch my videos, you look at them and it's sort of like you're sort of detached from the humanity of it because it's a pre-recorded video. Even when there's a premiere, it's like it's pre-recorded, right? But this is like live. There's a certain element of that that's just superior. What's up? Currently eating a steak. Well, I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear it. I am here to talk to you about how to speak with confidence about human nutrition science. And it's a little bit. It's not. The answer that I'm going to provide is not a direct answer because it's really not a direct answer, because if there's a direct answer, it'd be obvious. It's like how to speak with confidence, learn it, right? But it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. I mean, to learn how to interpret human nutrition science, it's a broader answer. It's actually, the answer is applicable to most things. How do you actually speak with confidence about anything at all? But especially human nutrition science. The reason I put emphasis on human nutrition science is because of what I've been saying for quite a while now. What I think is very important that people understand, sort of the signal to noise ratio. I actually mentioned that as a term years ago now. Well, I say years. I haven't been present for that long. I mean, over 2 years. Sure. But so I guess technically years, but it puts a different picture in people's heads. I've been mentioning signal to noise ratio quite a bit, and it was more specific at first. It was actually to do with certain mathematical values and statistical analyses and all that. But it actually gets to a broader point. There's sort of but it's analogous to the distinction between chaos and order in life, the unknown versus the known, right? And human nutrition science is teeming with noise. It's quite the paradox, because you're told that in order to sort of in order to infer and sort of ascertain, I always say infer. Let's spice things up. Let's use a different word. In order to ascertain, how we ought to eat and how we ought to live, we need to be looking at human nutrition science. And it's another one of those things where if you just put it in the title, it just seems to like, oh, you can beguile people into believing that that's exactly what it means. Like the Democratic Republic of any government name that's like the most tyrannical. It's like a running joke. The more words are in a government name that have like democracy and republic in it, it's tyrannical. It's like, yeah, but they do that with like most people do that with everything. Like they literally do it with everything. It happens all the time. And it's sort of similar here, like human nutrition science. How sophisticated we are. So it's like be wary of names. You have to dig deeper than the names. What actually is human nutrition science? Well, it's basically taking, At worst, it's study durations that last like 3 days to 2 weeks. And it's, done on like 10 people. And you have like maybe a control, quote unquote. And we basically, you introduce some intervention in people's lives. At best, you're usually defining it like remotely correctly, but sometimes it's not. Like, oh, this intervention with low carb. We did a low carb diet. We intervened with a low carb diet in these people, and it's like less than 150 grams a day. And it's like, oh, God. So yeah, stuff like that. And then you look at the primary outcome variables like that. And then at second worst, you've got like very large population, large population bodies, like tens of thousands of people. But it's on a very broad basis, like epidemiological studies where people administer food frequency questionnaires every 2 to 4 years. What's that? What is that? 2 to 4 years. And then they mislead you by saying per person per year of follow-up in the results. Oh, so they follow up every year, which would already be a problem. It would still be a problem. But it's actually, on average, like 2 to 4 years. Unbelievable. They say risk is a probabilistic term, I suppose you mean. Yeah. Correct. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Yeah, rat's nest of confounding variables. Yes, and I'm glad you bring up rats, because actually at worst, it's rats. It's not human nutrition science. It's rat nutrition science that they try and extrapolate to human beings. But that's the reason why I emphasize in the title of this stream, human nutrition science, because it's one thing to ask, how do you speak with confidence about like literally anything? How do you speak with confidence about biochemistry? How do you speak with confidence about like anatomy or something? Those are like hard sciences because the signal is strong, right? You're not guessing a lot. Like, okay, we know what the cecum is involved in. We know that what the appendix is involved in. Okay, we know the systems that we've identified in the liver and what they're involved in, and the regulators of such pathways and all that. Like those are harder sciences. Again, really, that's the distinction between hard and soft science. The distinction is hard sciences have stronger signals than soft sciences or weak sciences. And so I put emphasis on it because that's the science that actually needs the most understanding in order to be able to speak confidently about it. How do you discern between signal and noise? And that's really what brings me to why I'm here again, which is, I want to sort of cultivate a community of people that think that way, that actually ask those questions. Like the answer to this question is, of course, yes, to understand it, to learn it, learn the statistics so that you can actually undermine human nutrition science entirely. It works. It works once you actually learn it, but you approach it with disciplined pursuit of truth and curiosity. You find very quickly the problems. Very quickly the problems. And so that's step one, of course. It's to understand it, but it's also not merely to study it. You have to do so in a way that while asking questions, while being willing to ask questions, and not merely being willing to ask questions, but actually being able to ask the right questions, to dig deep and deep and deep. As soon as you find something that you think is the root foundation of something, you must be willing to dig even deeper. Like, don't think that that's the end, because oftentimes it isn't. Until you're starting to get into paradoxical sort of proofs about existence itself, like delving with the fabric of reality, you're not there yet. And so, again, we look at this in a perspective of how to optimize our health. And that's great. Actually, that's what I prioritize that's what I emphasize in my public material, in my past material, in my book, for example, Contraindicated. If you have not bought this already, you're missing out. You're missing out. The second edition is out now. Get your hands on that. But we come at this from a perspective of being keen to optimize our health, basically. But it's still it's a mindset and it's a way of thinking that is important no matter what context we're speaking in, as so long as it exists within reality as we perceive it. It's very useful. It's very important. And so That brings me back to once again, if you want a place where the science is discussed plainly like this, because everyone wants a community that actually thinks this way. There's way too much, again, there's way too much noise in the nutrition space, and there's, there's a lot of claims of conviction. There's a lot of opinions, but there's not really enough rigor, as I say. So if you everyone is striving towards that community. So if you want a place, if you want that community, again, everyone's striving towards that community, where the science is discussed plainly without the hidden agendas that are teeming, that are highly prevalent in the human nutrition science space. You want to know what matters actually, like what actually matters, real signals of weight, and what's versus what's a distraction. There's a lot of distractions. It just confuses you. That's all it does. When you look at these contradictory studies, what makes a difference versus what is just the chaos and everything. And if you have a deep curiosity, it's very important that you have the curiosity, because if you're not curious, it won't work. It doesn't work. Curiosity is what leads you to the ultimate foundational truth of the universe. So if you have curiosity, especially with emphasis on the curiosity when it comes to the inner workings of the human body and what that means for you on a day-to-day basis, and if you want to be able to as well reconcile seemingly contradictory studies for the reasons that I've already just provided to you at this moment, if you love, once again, if you loved Contraindicated, if you thoroughly enjoyed this book of mine, if you're intelligent, then this community that I have opened up as of February 1st is this is the place to be for you. But again, so if you're curious to become a founding member of this community, you can see at the top of this chat. You can see at the top of this chat to go ahead and to sign up to be a founding member of this community, to lock in the lowest price that I will ever be offering. Locked in for life. Locked in. That isn't temporary. I mean, it is temporary, but it's not. If you sign up now, it'll be locked in for life so long as you remain a member in good standing. I just expect one thing from you, and that is, if you have any feedback at all. You might not, but if you do, I want to hear it. I expect to hear from you. If you have any feedback, suggestions, ideas, anything like that, that's the deal. That is the deal. That's the expectation. The first 100 members are securing this lowest price, and then I will be significantly increasing the prices later on. I don't know when. It could be tomorrow. Probably won't be tomorrow, but don't take any chances. Don't do that. Don't miss your opportunity. Link is at the top of this chat and also in the description below. But yes, this community is for you if you're one of those people. If you are the opposite of that, if you're someone that for some reason is watching this, but you are a hardcore ideologue, if you don't care about human health at all, if you're not interested in determining fact from fiction, if you want to be told that you're right without being challenged, even when you're not getting the results that you want, then this isn't the place for you. There's no problems. There's no worries. Don't sign up. But I have a sneaking suspicion that that's not you. If you're here watching right now. So I don't think that's you. I do not think that's you. But seriously, this is we've already had some really good conversations in this community. It happened a lot faster than I thought it would. And I was pleasantly surprised. I was surprised. I almost got a late start to it. I was like, oh, wow, okay. I gotta get in on this. But I loved it. I have been loving it. And it's just gonna get better. I'm thoroughly excited about this. I really am. Like I said, already having, and the vision that I have for it, because I want to implement some new things as well, or some additional things. But I want to be very clear here that a community aspect, the community itself, is the most important part of this. I made the mistake a long time ago of underestimating the value of community. Because we all know that a community is like a good thing, but we sort of think of it as like we in practice think of it as neutral, but it's not. It's a really good, like, it's way better than you think. It's way better than you think. It's way more important. When I say better, it doesn't really convey the weight of it. It's important. You'd be so amazed at how many problems you can fix, how much faster you can fix a problem, and arrive at, and benefit other people, including yourself, with even just the help of like 2 other people. Now imagine a whole community of like-minded people that actually value scientific veracity, scientific integrity, and actually are willing to put aside, ego, bias, industry-sponsored bias in many cases, the dogma, the bad kind, and the diet tribalism, and actually care about, questioning the foundations that they stand on. They enjoy that. They seek it. They don't just enjoy it. They're not just okay with it. They enjoy it, but they don't just enjoy it, but they seek it. They constantly try and falsify their positions because that is the way to get to the most robust conclusions. If you're one of those people, this community is the place for you. It really is. Communities do not spontaneously just like form. They don't, like, they have to have the help of other people to form. I want you to imagine, I want you to close your eyes real quick, my dear viewer here. My dear viewer, I want you to close your eyes and think back to the last time that you got angry, scrolling on social media and seeing coaches online that call themselves coaches and therefore they are one. They don't know anything about anything. They're complete charlatans. They don't know anything about nutrition. They don't know anything about fitness even. I know less about fitness than I do about nutrition, but I know way more about fitness than they do. Enough to know that they have no idea what they're talking about. And seeing the communities that they've cultivated, thousands of likes, tens of thousands. And recognizing, not just being angry at the fact that they have a community while they're spreading a bunch of false information. But additionally to that we don't have one as big as them. Or that some of them that are in our space, that some are, not as robust as they could be. And again, that's not to denigrate, disparage people in our space. That we have to, part of a community is being supportive of everyone else in the community that has their own communities. So it's like an overall community and the communities within communities. I'm getting a little confusing. So I'll slow down here. But I want you to think back to the last time you felt that. And you thought, man, I wish that we had a community that allowed for a formidable fight to be had between these communities, like a better competition. And now I want you to look at this and think, well, and realize this is a great opportunity. And again, you're getting a great deal right now. That's why I'm doing this as frequently as possible so that you understand, so that you don't miss this opportunity, because this is a one-time opportunity. This is a one-time opportunity. Again, there's a monthly option for this. There's an annual option. Link is at the top of this chat. Link is in the description below to sign up to be a member of this community. The foundation has been laid. The community is the most important part, and that's already there. We've already started. I'm already posting some exclusive videos in there. I've had a lot of requests to do videos throughout the last 2 years, and I can only get to so many. I add them all to a list, and my list is packed. But so now I'm only taking recommendations right now from people in the community. We've already discussed some weekly live streams where we can react to videos, or we can do some study reviews and ask more questions than make more statements, if that makes sense, of strong conviction. I am a very convicting person, but only when it comes to how we ought not to be convicting about hardly anything. That's different. That is what sets me apart from other people that have their own massive communities that spread a bunch of false information and don't dig beneath the superficial elements of things. So again, this community is the one that's going to be built on veracity. I say that word a lot. Veracity, rigor, truth, integrity, discipline, actual discipline, hard science. Again, all I ask, if you sign up now to be a founding member, again, we're in the founding phase. If you sign up now to be a founding member, you will secure the lowest price that I will ever be offering for this community, locked in for life so long as you remain a member in good standing, on the one condition, that if you have any feedback, you might not at all, but if you have any feedback at all, just give it to me. You have agency in this. You are helping shape the direction of this community as a founding member. There's a monthly option. There's an annual option. Big savings, nevertheless, because of the founding feature, the founding phase here. And the price, the first 100 are getting this offer. At the last count, I think there's over 50 now, which is good. Very good. Good on you if you've signed up already. Welcome. Good job. I just want honest feedback. That's it. Suggestions and ideas. The first 100 people are going to secure this lowest price. The prices will significantly increase later on. So, link is at the top of this chat. Link is in the description below if you have not joined yet. But this is how we also, this isn't like, there's going to be a lot of information in this community, but like I said, it's going to be primarily based on asking questions more than making a statement. So this is actually a learning experience as well. It's a way of just continuing to learn. Anyone that tells you that they were a student, maybe like informally, yeah, that makes sense. Like whatever, don't really look too much into it. But if they insist upon them knowing everything already about something, I'd be wary of that person. It doesn't mean they're not smart necessarily, but the goal is to be a forever student because you can't learn everything about the universe. But this community encourages the asking of questions. It encourages that. Okay, so again, link at the top of this chat, link in the description below. Link. I want to make sure that you know where it is and you don't miss your opportunity because this is for you to secure this one-time deal here. Let's see what you are saying in the chat, shall we? Best thing about life, we get to learn every day. Josephine, couldn't have said it better. Couldn't have said it better. Howdy, Edward. Oh, I'm reading backwards now. Hello, Josephine. Hello, Paul. Saladino is a grifter who got hooked on his own supply. Cognitive dissonance is a hell of a drug. Yes, I agree. And I feel bad for Paul. I feel bad for people that perpetrate misinformation. I feel more sadness than I do anger, believe it or not. The more anger you actually feel, the more you're almost like losing, because you're actually letting them have power over you. The problem is that whenever you actually feel bad for someone, even if it's genuine, it's really hard to not make it sound condescending and patronizing. People don't really believe you. They think that you're trying to get under their skin. But just because it gets under their skin doesn't mean that that's why I'm saying it, like I'm being patronizing or condescending. I actually feel very, very bad for Paul. I really do. I feel bad for those people. It doesn't mean that I have primary compassion in my actions towards the perpetrators of misinformation and crime, if we're talking on a broader level, as compared to the victims. I always have more compassion for the victims, but it doesn't preclude me. It doesn't preclude me from having compassion for the perpetrators because everyone's sort of, well, I want to be careful not to say that everyone's a victim, right? Because now who do I sound like? But there's always something that causes their issue. There's always an etiology. There's root cause. My community is all about root cause healing. How trite is that? Root cause healing. But if you haven't signed up yet, once again, link at the top. I keep wanting to say it because people are, there's other, you may have recently joined. So again, if you've recently joined, rewind and hear the whole thing about my community that I am cultivating of people that actually value scientific veracity and integrity and want to put aside the ego and the dogma to really pursue foundational truth and build a community in which you get to help shape the direction if you sign up now to become a founding member so that we can fight back against all the nonsense in the nutrition science space and other communities that really are superficial and diet tribalism, filled with diet tribalism. Make sure you all click like. Yes, Coach Steven. Yes, Coach Steven, good on you for making sure everyone clicks like and subscribe. I'm Gen X. I usually went to the salad bar because that's where the tuna fish was. Salad. I will be 70 this year. I have no clue beyond baby boomers. Bombers? Baby boomers. Baby boomers. I think the mayo was proper mayo back then. How do you even make proper mayo with like saturated fat? How do you even do that? Can you do that? Okay, hold on a minute. BBBE here. Good. Yes. Yeah, that's me basically. Bacon, not so much. Same here. Eggs, not so much for me either. Once in a while. Usually once a week or so. Risk infers cause and effect, which you can't responsibly imply in nutritional studies because they aren't properly conducted scientific interventions. Stephen, you get it. You get it. And again, this is the type of thinking that I'm wanting to cultivate in the space. People that actually understand that, because I think it's one of those things where if you say it to someone, they almost like, it's like so obvious once you say it that they'll stop themselves in their tracks and they're like, that's like so obvious. I would have recognized that if that were true, so that couldn't be true. Have you ever had the people say stuff like that or like act like that way? Like you say something and it just, they hear it and they go, that just makes too much sense. So like it makes so much sense that I would have, if it were true, I would have already known that. So it must not be true. There must be something more to it. Right? So it's like, and I sympathize with it because I think all of us have kind of experienced that. Like we've been like, what? Huh? It's like Occam's razor. You dig so deep into something, but you've missed like the answer was like way behind you. And you're like, no, that can't, no, that's not right. That's not right. Your community is a nice thing, but not increasing the budget here. Okay, well, Paul, I will say this. I'm not one to pressure anyone in anything. Obviously, this is a free society. But the only question that I want to make sure that you're asking is the investment actually, what is the return on investment? So long as you ask yourself that question and then you come to your conclusion, that's fine. But just like compare the investment into the return, to the return, because that's what matters ultimately. Howdy, you're doing awesome. I'm still watching the obesity one you posted. So far, interesting. Yep, hit that thumbs up, beautiful people. Yes, Josephine. Yeah, the video started okay, and then it went into the yeah. There's going to be some videos that we, like I said, I have a vision for this community where we react to videos even in the in the community directly. I always find it very ironic when I get the no signal on my screen, because this community is full of signal. No noise. We minimize noise. We cut through it. I don't have any props here to like really convey that. And I can't bring up like I can't bring on props that could be perceived as too macabre either, or else then I risk some platforming issues. Anyway, yeah, seriously, let's go ahead and see here. What's going on right now? What's happening? I need to open my email here. Open my email really quickly. Really quickly here. Okay. Yes. I wanted to see. We've got someone else. We've got someone else that has signed up. Good on you. Welcome. Congratulations. Congratulations. You are making the right decision. And I want to make sure that you know that is the right decision. There are, like I said, there's a lot of things that I'm looking forward to implementing as well, but I want to make sure that people do not think that they're joining for specifically those things. Like those are the really good things. It's like, nah, exactly. It's the community aspect that is the most important. The support group that you have, the people that think alike, the people that actually are keen to optimize their health, people that want a place where the science is once again discussed plainly without a hidden agenda, people that want to know what matters and what's a distraction, what makes a difference and what's just noise. Okay. Those are the people that you're going to be forming a community with and joining together with. Remember that. People that have a deep curiosity into the workings of the human body and what it means for you on a day-to-day basis. People that actually want to be able to reconcile seemingly contradictory studies. People that loved my book, Contraindicated. Once again, the thinking, if you've read this book, the thinking that is involved in this, that is included in this, is the thinking that is going to be, well, that's what I employ in the community. But of course, that's the type of thinking that I want in the community. And even if you don't fully think that way, I mean, it takes practice. It's like working out a muscle. The community will cultivate that behavior. It will encourage that way of thinking. It's like just a better environment. It's like if you're not the best person that you are, it's always good to surround you with people that you want to be, right? It's the same situation here. We have to remember, let's actually think about this from an evolutionary perspective. You usually, if you're watching me, you probably think about things from an evolutionary perspective. We are social creatures. We thrive in communities. If we're a social creature, we always want to strive for what's indicated, what's species appropriate. Is it species appropriate to not have a community at all? To not actually be involved in a community that thinks alike? It's not to say that you want to surround yourself with people that only think the same way that you do, but that's not what this is. There's diverse thought within a framework of disciplined pursuit of truth, within a framework of valuing, hard sciences, valuing cutting through the noise, and exhibiting a deep curiosity, again, into the interworkings of the body, being able to tie diet to mechanism. Okay, so again, if you're one of these people that want to be able to reconcile seemingly contradictory studies, if you're intelligent as well, this is the place to be. This is the place to be. But not if you're a hardcore ideologue, and not if you don't care about human health. If you don't care about human health, this community isn't for you. Okay, yes. To be fair, yes, there is a time where it's not right for you. That there are some criteria. Okay, if it's not, let's see. If you don't care about human health, is that you? If you're a hardcore ideologue, I've already mentioned that a few times now. I don't think that's you. I hope not. If you're not interested in determining fact from fiction at all, if you want to be told that you're right without being challenged, even when you're not getting the results you want, then no, you're right. If you check those boxes off, then yeah, it's not the community isn't for you. But if you're not that person, sign up. Again, link at the top of this chat, link in the description below as well, to secure your lowest price that I will ever be offering. Ever! Yeah, I should study that book. Wait, which one? Oh, tomorrow I will begin my new life without sugars and starchy carbs. Well, I'm glad to hear that, aristocratic Nietzschean. Nietzsche? There's like 5 different ways to pronounce his name. Eddie, do what I eat in a day. I've done that. I did that with my lovely fiance, Bella. Before she was my fiance, actually. That was last year. And it was actually about a year ago now. Things have changed a little bit. I now buy more ground beef than those bottom round steaks. But Eddie, do you have a book? Do I have a book? Do I have a book? Well, I'm glad that you asked. That might be sarcastic. I mention my book all the time. Like, hey, do you have a book written? But yes, I do, in fact. Have you read it? Have you read it? Have you read it? I think Einstein worked alone. Yeah, well, I mean, he was anomalous, and I'm sure that he had still some semblance of a community. Resemblance? I don't even know what the hell I'm saying right now. I'm going to have to go to bed really soon because I have school in the morning. Good night to everyone and Edward. Well, Gavin, avoid the propaganda. Be a responsible student nevertheless. Glad that you were here. Glad that you were here. And I hope to see you in the community, by the way, if you're not already there. Face IQ said your book is his favorite. Yes, I know. I did. I saw that. And I'm glad that he enjoyed. I am thoroughly glad he enjoyed. Why is my chat just going all the way on the other monitor here? That's unfortunate. But yeah, I did see that. That was very nice. That's great. I wonder what books he has read, what other books he's read. I am curious. Schopenhauer also claimed that true freedom can only be achieved in loneliness. As soon as people are in crowds and in groups, they lose part of their personal freedom. Not necessarily. Not necessarily at all. We are social creatures. That is a fact. Very social creatures. There is a lot. There's mob mentality that can be exhibited, but so long as people are bridled by morality and actually and have an open-minded sort of approach and are principled, then the likelihood of that happening is less. The more people believe that liberalism, in the technical meaning, liberalism is to be found in minimizing all rules and strictures, and therefore, breaking the shackles of self-discipline and all these other things that are paradoxically actually liberating, the more that people will be inclined towards that behavior. Okay, like for example, I think that there was one of the most genius ways of putting it is everyone thinks that less rules equals more freedom, and it's like depending on which rules and depending on how many, okay, fair enough. However, the logical extension of that being invariably true is that no rules means complete freedom. And if that's the case, it's like, okay, let's actually test that out. You and I, let's test that out. Okay, let's play a game. What, you want to play a game with me? Okay. All right, we've agreed to play a game. Okay, your turn. Your turn. What are you going to say in response to that? What are the rules? I don't know how to act if there's no rules. Ah! And so there you go. Who's face IQ? Yeah, I know. There's some people that don't know. He puts more emphasis on the phenomenon known as looks maxing by the Gen Z, Gen Alpha types. Something that I believe that there's some element of truth to. Obviously, I've talked in my book, for example, in the about the looks maxing phenomenon, or not. No, sorry, that's actually not true. I talked about the decline in our structural health as a result of the agrarian revolution, and I talk about that when it comes to our facial structure. And I've talked about some ways of being able to restore that, but I have not talked about, for example, hitting myself in the face with a hammer. Because I'm not an idiot. I'm not a masochistic moron. Okay? The Amish are about community. Yes! I really want to join the certification program once my school is over. I've got 2 more years. Well, look, take your time. No rush at all. But yes, I do highly recommend that. I highly recommend both of these. Or again, there's a community aspect in the program as well, the certification program, and then there's also a community that I'm building as well. I'm really looking forward to what we're building. I really am. If you have not signed up yet, link is at the top of this chat and link is in the description below as well. Very important that you do that. Very, very important that you do that. Again, it's how many people we have on here? How many of you are there? Oh, we got 18. 18 of you. 19. Who joined? Whoever just joined, welcome. If you're new here, I want to remind you that if you are keen to optimize your health, and if you want a place where, you want a community where the science is discussed plainly without any hidden agendas, and if you want to know what matters and what's a distraction in the scientific space, and what makes a difference and what's just noise, and if you have a deep curiosity into the inner workings of the body and want to be able to tie diet to mechanism in the first place, how to determine what that means for you on a day-to-day basis, if you want to be able to reconcile seemingly contradictory studies, if you've read my book and loved it, and you liked the thinking that was employed in there and the way in which we actually went about solving problems, the disciplined pursuit of truth, if you're intelligent, and also there's a lot of talk about face IQ here, and the whole looks maxing phenomenon. If you're good looking, etc., then this is the place. This is the best place to be for you. And this community that I'm building right now is the best place for you. I've built a community that is based on this logic. I'm cultivating people that actually value scientific veracity, scientific rigor, truth, the disciplined pursuit of it, most importantly, scientific integrity, discipline, hard science. Okay, this community, that's what it's based on. And so if this sounds like something that you're into, communities they're not spontaneously created. They require people to join them. And so sign up at the link at the top of this chat and also in the description below. I'll also be leaving a pinned comment soon enough, because I will have to get off of here soon. It's already late for me, but I made sure to prioritize this because I care about you. And I'm not trying to be treacly here, and I'm not even trying to be funny. I know that I'm facetious a lot, but I really mean that. This is for you. I am doing this as frequently as I possibly can to make sure that you do not miss out on this offer to become a founding member of this community in the founding phase of this community, wherein you can secure, and you will secure so long as you sign up, the lowest price that I am ever going to offer for this community. Locked in for life, so long as you remain a member in good standing, and so long as you meet the one expectation that I have for you, which is if you have any feedback at all, if you have literally any, which you might not, if you have any feedback about the direction of the community, because you have agency over the direction of this. As a founding member, you get to help shape the direction of the community. You get to help shape it. If you have any feedback, just let me know. That's it. Any ideas, any suggestions on how to make it better. That's all I want. That's all I expect as a founding member. That is the deal that you're signing up for. There's an annual option. There's a monthly option. Huge savings, nevertheless, because of the fact that it is this is the founding phase. The first 100 members are securing this price, and I will be significantly increasing the price later on. I don't know when that will be, but I want to make sure that if you are new, you are freshly joining, that you hear this again. Well, not again, but for the first time. So, very important that you sign up now. And I will be doing more of these. Absolutely. Until every single person has heard it ad nauseum. That is intentional. So, just want to make sure that people are aware of this. And if you are curious, I've already told you what this community is sort of for, what it's based on, and if this community is right for you. If this community, if you are someone, I didn't tell you if you are someone that's new here to the stream. I didn't tell you how to determine whether this community isn't right for you. Okay, so let me go through this again. Okay, if you are someone that is a hardcore ideologue, okay, a hardcore ideologue, you don't care about human health. You're not interested at all, actually, in determining fact from fiction, and you want to be told that you're right without being challenged. Again, even whenever you're not getting the result that you want, that you're actually aiming for, then this place isn't for you. So if you are one of those people, if you check those boxes, then no, this community, don't worry about signing up. Don't worry about signing up, because this isn't for you at all. So, just making sure that you know this. Positive energies. I agree. I don't know if you even mean my demeanor here, but I hope so. I think so. Eddie, what do you think of God? I think it's pretty cool. No, the concept of God, which broadly speaking is sort of like nature, the intelligent design, the underlying logic of the universe, the logos, the unmoved mover, as the Greeks called it in Athens. The concept is very interesting. I'm not subscribed to any particular religion. I don't really know where I lie on that. However, I think that it is very naive to completely perfunctorily reject the idea. One of the things that I've been very careful to emphasize in recent times especially, is every time that I call human nutrition science theology, I'm not saying that in a way that suggests that theology, broadly speaking, is very bad. I'm not. One of the most enlightening things that you'll learn is that theology is one of the only things we have in the first place. Most things are theology when we call them science. And it's because humans have an innate desire, talking about God and sort of like what people conceptualize God to be, and humans being made in the image of God. We are designed to establish, we have a high proclivity to establish order in a world of chaos. One of the ways we do so is in the form of language, the same way that Genesis says that God ushered order into a world of chaos with his word, right? There's parallels there. But another way that we do so, we have an overwhelming desire to do so, to the point where in many cases we sacrifice responsibility. We do so even at the expense of responsibility, whether it's responsible to do so or not. So saying things are causal when they're merely associative. Saying things are causal when they may be causal, but also they may not be causal. So I want to be forgiving towards the idea, and I actually have one of the things that I've wanted to do is, given our very materialistic world and sort of ever-growing, well, it was for the last few decades, ever-growing atheistic world, but now there's sort of like an increase of Christianity, like especially the sort of Orthodox practices like Catholicism, for example. I've found it very frustrating that I was never even taught the Bible or anything like that, like the basis behind Western civilization. And so I'm very, again, going back to the whole curious, disciplined pursuit of truth, curious mind. I want to set aside time like every Saturday or so to just study a bit of it. Like, it's important. Like, I actually view it as very, very important to do so. Like, something that is so foundational, whether I believe in it or not, like, I want to understand it. It's very important to me. I thought bone smashing was based on Wolff's Law. It is. Wolff's Law, I'm not someone that is against or denies Wolff's Law. You don't need to smash yourself in the face with a hammer to looks max and to make your face look good. That would be like me saying, okay, well, if I want to get really, really strong bone density and really, really good looking leg bones, I'll smash my legs and break them with a hammer. How does that make any sense? Clavicular is someone that believes that we should be influencing, the thing that should be influencing who we vote for is the way that someone looks on the outside in terms of their jaw structure. So tell me what logic is employed there. I thought it was micro tears. What do you mean? Micro tears are in reference to muscle. And notice the word there, micro tear, not macro tear. So I mean, like, yeah, there's Wolff's Law, and then there's just breaking your bones. I think clavicular is someone that learned the term Wolff's Law, read it, and then went. I mean, this is like realizing that warm water can like. No, it's like realizing that honey can like be used for wound healing because of their antimicrobial properties, and then using that to justify consuming 400 grams of it a day or something. Slightly different, I know. Analogies are never perfect, but and some are more perfect than others, or more accurate than others. But microfractures, maybe. Yes. That I'm not like. Okay, that makes more sense. Keeping an open mind, Josephine. Yes. You always want to make sure as well that you're not so open-minded that you let your brain fall out of your head. So there's that too. But then at the same time, it's like, then you have to determine like, when is that? When would that be? Like, leave it up to the individual to do that or whatever. That's what the Gnostics called it. Sorry, I completely, I missed that comment, Stephen. Yes. See, I listen to so many commentators on this stuff just because I just want to listen to what they have to say. Sometimes sometimes I'm baffled. Sometimes it's just like, I listen and I go, I have to shut down the part of my brain that's like, because sometimes there's parts where I react and I go, I'm like rolling my eyes. I'm like, how do they believe this? How do they believe that? But at the same time, we also believe that something came from nothing. And we forget that we're on a spinning planet in a universe that's infinitely massive. Like, if this is interesting to think about. If you were immediately transported to space and you were immune to like all the things that would cause if you were just naked in space or something, so you're safe, right? And you looked around at everything, I'm sure that you would probably say, you know what? The existence of God it's not that outlandish, is it? Because once you actually see Earth and like the planets like in real life, and you're like, oh, okay, so these things like exist. But I have way more questions than answers. In fact, I think the most responsible religious commentators are the exact same still. Even though they know a lot, they still have more questions than answers. So it's interesting to think about. I thought the president thing was a joke because the way his community is like. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. The guy made a video about how he thinks that maybe if Charlie Kirk had more of a face with the ability to mog others, that maybe he wouldn't have been shot. So I don't really think the guy's joking. I don't really think he's joking. I could be wrong. But we must remember, lest we forget that he makes these videos. So anyway, just a final note. I have to get off here, unfortunately. I love talking with you. I really do. I love these. I get to talk about things that I don't normally talk about, my public material. If you have not signed up yet to be a founding member of this community in the founding phase that actually values scientific veracity, scientific rigor, integrity, discusses the science plainly, puts aside any bias, any dogma, any ego, actually enjoys and encourages the questioning of the ideological foundations on which we reside, that seeks even deeper answers to things. You value all this. You value the hard sciences. You read my book and loved it. You like the logic that was employed in here. And you haven't signed up to be a member of this health science community of mine, one of its kind. The link is at the top of this chat to join, and also in the description below to secure your position as a founding member, wherein you get to help shape the course, the direction of this community. You get to help, you get to offer suggestions, ideas, feedback. I actually expect that from you, so long as you're a founding member, and and all that. That's the only expectation that I have, so long as you have the feedback. But you secure this lowest price, so long as you're a member in good standing. So long as you remain a member in good standing. The first 100 members will secure this lowest price, and the prices will significantly increase later on. That is true. I don't know when it will be. It could be tomorrow. I don't think it will be tomorrow, but you can never guarantee it. And I don't want you to be someone that misses out on this opportunity. So, link is at the top of this chat. Link is in the description below. Link will be in a pinned comment as well. Do not miss this opportunity. It is very important for the sake of the world, the health space, that communities like this are built. And they're not spontaneously created. So, glad that you joined. I hope to see you in the community. If you're not already there yet, sign up. And with that said, I will see you in the next one, wherein I will be discussing this again for your sake, and also other things as well. Obviously, I'm not just going to be talking about this. I like looking at your chats as well here. Eddie, what's your Roblox account? I can't say. All right. I will see you guys. I will see you in the next one.